Well then, okay, I will try to explain how I do this taxi fare duplication glitch efficiently in speedruns. We all know how to trigger it, and something I prefer is just starting the mission while I am around people, because sometimes there's a chance of just not getting a fare if you start the mission when there are no pedestrians around. So essentially starting the mission down there is not really good from my experience. But that's just me. So one thing you need to know, the game can only spawn 20 pedestrians in your draw distance. That means if I just, let's just say, look through the people behind this building can still spawn because that's in my draw distance. But I don't actually like, they're in a certain radius, that means in that radius they can spawn. The game only manages to make 20 pedestrians in that radius. So there are 4 types of pedestrians as well. The ones that are just normal pedestrians, I guess, not doing anything, or let's just say they serve no purpose, like these guys there. And there are the ones that are proper fares that function, like the, let's just say, loyal customer I have right now. There are fares that kind of are seemingly fares, but they will not work because they will not enter your taxi. Or cop car in this case. And then there are fares that kind of... let's just call them fake fares, because they get into your taxi, but they don't give you a destination to go to. Now, my method of doing this is kind of weird, yeah, you could say that. What happens when you drop off a passenger is the game searches for normal pedestrians and tries to transform them into working fares. One of them needs to be a working fare. The other one does not need. Well, will be one of these pseudo fares. I forgot my destination. So that means the game searches 2 pedestrians. But if I turn my camera into a direction where there are no pedestrians, it can only find the one single pedestrian that I just dropped off. And do I turn the camera into another direction right after, like a direction of my choice, I will essentially just force the game to spawn a couple of more pedestrians. The game will register more than at least 2 pedestrians, and so it can generate the next fare immediately, taking the guy that I just dropped off and make him the next fare. So basically, it just searched for 2 pedestrians, so it's these 2 guys, because those were in the draw distance. They spawned. One of them will work, the other one won't. That's just completely natural. Now I continue and complete this fare. See how there are pedestrians on this side? I go to the far right of the marker and I look to the right as well. So yeah, some of the pedestrians will despawn, making it a higher chance, so to say, that the guy I just dropped off will get right back in the taxi. So this kind of makes me chain these loyal customers, and that helps a lot, so you won't have to search for new pedestrians or new like customers. That tank, I just cheated it because I jumped over the bridge, and yeah, blah 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 blah. You know, it doesn't matter. Just don't question the tank. I think the museum was the thing. Anyway, these fares, if you kill them, the marker will still stay there. That means those guys will never despawn. And that essentially means that you have to restart this mission at some point. Why? Because the game can only spawn 20 pedestrians in your draw distance. Meaning, once you have dropped off around, like for each fare you have completed, there will be one guy who does not despawn. Although he is not in your draw distance anymore, he will still take up one of these, let's say, pedestrian spots. So right now I have 7 random guys because I have completed 14 fares. 7 random guys are standing around the map, and that means the game can only now... Well, now I have 8 guys. That means the game can only spawn 8 more... No. 12 more pedestrians somewhere on the map, and usually tries to fit them in my draw distance. Since these 8 guys are running around, it means that my pedestrian rate will heavily drop now. It does not mean that you suffer from the ghost town glitch right now. But yeah, once again I turn the camera to the right here. Like, this is just an example of how I do it. And now, it would be nice if pedestrians would spawn. I'm just gonna follow this guy because I know he is a customer, he is going to work. I just need to get another See, yeah, somewhere, I don't know where, I spawned a pedestrian. Just stay next to the guy, he will get back. The next pedestrian that will spawn will be the guy who is the non-working fare. And the working fare is the fare you just dropped off. It's a little bit difficult to explain or understand, I believe. I have no idea how to say it. I just know how it works. I'm really bad at explaining things. So I just always look back so I make sure the pedestrians are like just not like, I don't know. If I don't look back, the game will search for 2 normal pedestrians that serve no purpose up to that point. And usually it's just the game just kind of how am I gonna say that? The game searches for these normal pedestrians first, not trying to take the guy you just dropped off. But he will still work. Oh my god, this is just crazy bad. I guess you will understand it a little bit more if I just explain it the way like I'll just go. At least 2 guys are there. Okay, fuck it. In this case it could have been that, let's just say, only these 2, like 2 of these 3 guys would have been like fares. That could have been the case, and that would still be good. Oh, shopping mall, that's a good location. I need to talk about this first. The shopping mall is a really awkward location. There will be no pedestrians around, despite it being a shopping mall. But as you can see, there are no people around here. What I usually do here is, it doesn't matter what side you're coming from, but just turn the camera back and stay there. Because I will spawn pedestrians here on this side, because now there are a couple of people. Just because I looked in that direction. That's what I'm talking about with the draw distance. I'm trying to spawn some people in my draw distance, but after I have dropped off the fare, so... or as I drop off the fare, so so there are no other pedestrians around that can take the fare place, let's just say that. So I can chain the same guy over and over and over and over and over again. Like now. At this point I have completed 28 fares, so this is not going to be very easy to keep up. You see, no pedestrians are spawning. I can drive around the streets, and you will not see many people at all. It's just because 28 fares equals 14 people running around randomly. Not those guys are just the non-working fares that are left behind. Some of them have markers, some of them don't. There is a maximum amount of markers that the game can handle at the same time. And that is why the late fares don't have markers anymore. At this point, you have nothing to do but just restart the mission. There's no way. But if you can do around like 30-ish fares without like having to restart, then that's good. You can do that like 3 times or something, and then you're as good as done with the taxi missions in a run. Now I essentially just have to restart the mission, and it just keeps on going. I have no idea what I wanted to say before, but I failed at explaining something. This guy is not going in. Yeah. The camera thing is mainly to maintain the same guy as my fare. Why is that one not working? I still don't quite understand. Oh, so he was working. Okay then. Thanks. I don't quite understand this yet, but the more fares you get, the harder it's going to be to keep them up. You can't just go and like drive around and search for another fare as you would like legitimately do it if you did the taxi missions normally, or without the dupe. But yeah, right now I dropped him off having a lot of pedestrians in my draw distance, so it took other pedestrians from the draw distance and gave those the fare abilities or whatever, the fare status. If you try to chain the same person over and over and over again, then you won't really have to deal with those fake fares anymore, because you know you have this one certain customer and he will always work. So if someone else tries to get into your car, don't let him in if you know that the other guy is or if you know that the loyal customer is already going in. But even if those people get in, it's not really the end of the world, because you can just like, you have 4 seats in a cop car now, come on, that's more than enough. So one of these guys must work. Essentially my 100% PB, I just chained these guys quite easily. Also the park is kind of a bad area. You need to work with your camera a little bit there so you can have pedestrians at your side, otherwise you can't keep this up. The park is really mean with pedestrian spawns. Make sure you kind of you need to time the dropping, or yeah, you need to time like the delivering kind of specifically. So don't just deliver the people, wait until you can actually see other people. Is this one working? Yep, it is. So wait until there are actual people that can take the the fare status again. Otherwise you can't continue this mission and you would have to restart. Oh dude, it's difficult to explain. I just can't do it. But yeah, that's kind of everything I have to say. Maybe it helps you if you just watch my 100% PB also fuck these guys. So it might just help you if you watch my 100% run or something. Yeah, that's it. I guess I have nothing else to say. You just need to know that about 30, 34, 33, 32-ish fares are the maximum amount of fares you can do. There's just no way you're getting more, because at that point you will have about 18 or 19 spawns that are persistent and stay on the map. Once you restart the taxi mission, you can just well, all these people will despawn again. So you have to restart the mission a couple of times, but it's still a lot faster than doing them normally, especially these like 100 fares. You can just do them in about 35 minutes on Staunton after the game, which is really helpful, but I recommend practicing the mission. I guess it's really helpful if you do that, because I did that as well, trying to understand how it works, or try to see if you should or want to move the camera kind of specifically in certain areas, so you know, if I turn it that way, then turn it around again, spawn some pedestrians, then the guy I just dropped off will get in immediately again. That's always really helpful if you do that. I can't really perfectly explain it, but the pedestrian spawns are very, let's just say, important to know. I don't know if 20 is for sure like the fact. I don't know if that's the one number the game but it just seems to be the number of pedestrians. And for those who don't know how to get to Staunton early, because okay, I don't want that perennial anyway, I just want to show you that you can just go down here and jump and fail the jump, because I jumped a bit too late, but you can land on that and then you walk up there, get to Staunton, and just do the mission. You cannot do this trick anymore if you load the game, so you need to never load your game. Live with your mistakes in a run. And that's really all I can say now. I hope this video helps some people. If not, then just ask me on the IRC. I have no idea, man.